All right, let's talk about arguing with God. Okay, I know everybody's like, "Oh my God." Yes, I have the audacity to do it. Sometimes I do. I'm not going to lie. I'm an Aquarius, okay? But yeah, dude. So I do. I have the audacity. I'm like, you fucking, because when you realize you are God, you realize that you and God are kind of not too like I hold reverence for God, but God also holds reverence for me kind of energy. I don't know, it's like, at least that's how I feel it. And so now it's like, instead of seeing things as being planted by the devil, I see it as being planted by God. God made the devil, right? That's another aspect of God. We see that in with Vishnu and Shiva and everything else. We have all these different deities to kind of define that, you know? And God is kind of like man and woman, okay? And all of the in between, you know? It's kind of like God is everything that nature is, because we are all God kind of energy, right? And when you realize that you can talk back a little bit, sometimes it's nice, but not in a bad way. Don't talk back like in a bad way. Just understand, like, if you say you're gonna fast one day and you show up to work and they got fucking donuts, understand that wasn't planted by the devil. That was God. Like, oh, you were gonna fast today? Let me just make sure they have some apple fritters. You know, like, I'm like, oh, you son of a gun. Like, dude. And I use that as a genderless term. That dude. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you son of a gun, you've done it now. You know, and it's like, sometimes you just realize, because that's the nature of the universe. Like, if you want to do something, you have to be challenged by it. Otherwise, you're not going to get good at doing whatever it is that you're trying to do. You know, like fasting. It's like, they got to challenge you. They're going to have a fucking banquet at work, probably. You know, whatever. The second you decide to. Or I remember when I did Ramadan last year. Oh my fucking God. I did it right after the Passover, or Lent, sorry. During Lent, I like gave up cigarettes. I was like, okay, you know, something that I actually really fucking, you know, like, I'm like, that's a real sacrifice. So I sacrificed cigarettes during Lent. And then I went straight into fucking Ramadan, right? Because I was like, I'm gonna try all the religions and see kind of what they're doing. And well, not try the religions, but like try their traditions and kind of see like how they got a spiritual experience out of that, you know? Kind of like, they're like, this is the path to finding God. Well, I want to try that path. Like, okay, let's see. Yeah, that's the scientist in me. I'm like, well, let's try the path. And if I find it, then I find it. Then it's me doing my own scientific shit, you know? And so I did Ramadan. And oh my God, like during Ramadan, I ended up taking my mom up to Portland, and we stopped at Voodoo Donuts, and then we stopped at this fucking place where they have like falafels and gyros and shit. And I was like, oh my God, I fucking love falafels. And so I remember sitting in the fucking cart, like my mom had already eaten, and she's like, I feel bad, I ate in front of you. And I was like, dude, it's Ramadan, it's okay, you know. And I was like, holding the warm falafel in my lap, and I was like, I'm going to have this. Hold on, let me relight this. I always have to do this, I swear. I get into talking. But yeah, so Ramadan, oh my God. And so the most spiritual experience of the whole thing was that day I had the falafel, it was all warm in my lap, and I'm looking at the sunset, and it's not like any sunset I've ever seen in my life. Usually I'm like, oh, I want them to last forever, and I'm like, sun, go down. Go down right now so I can eat this shit. Like, it's like, you just kind of get into that, like, I don't know, you know, like, I'm hungry. And but that's the beauty in it, because then the sunset slows the fuck down, and it's like the longest sunset of your whole life. And then you finally like surrender to the moment, and you're like, okay, well, this is beautiful. Your stomach's growling, the falafel's like all smelly and delicious, and I'm like, oh my God. Like the whole time I'm like staring into the sunset, and I'm like, please go down. I'm like, beg in the sun. I never do that. That was so out of my character. And I was like, dude, nobody thinks about the struggles of another until they get there. And like, I never thought I would ever look at a sunset and be like, go down, please. Like, I was like sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna die. My body's gonna wither away. I'm like Ursula from The Little Mermaid when she's like, I'm withering away. Like, oh my god, so fucking dramatic, right? I've been so dramatic with God. Like, sometimes I'm like, God, how do you even put up with my ass? Like, dude, I'm the most dramatic fucking dude. Hold on. Time travel. So, yeah, anyway, back to where I was. Yeah, I've been so petty with God. And, like, sometimes and the Archangel Michael, oh my god. I'm sure he's so done with my ass. I don't know. I'm like, oh my gosh. Every time I lose something, I'm like, yo, gangsters, spirit guides. I think it was, what was her name? Sonia something awesome. She has a cool, I think it's like Choquette or something, but her whole thing is like talking to your spirit guides. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna start. I don't give a fuck. It keeps my throat chakra open, whatever. I'm gonna talk to my spirit guides. And so and I consider angels to be part of that, so anytime I fucking lose something, I'm over there, I'm like, yo, angels, yo, Michael. I'm like, you got my back, where are the keys? And I don't know, and it's kind of cool, because it's like, you feel, because then I find it every time, like, it doesn't matter the most ridiculous place. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I just had to stop my dogs from having sex with each other. So yeah, another thing planted by God, or God's just like, distraction from whatever it is you're trying to do. So yeah, freaking, what was I saying? Anyway, when you think of like your spirit guides, like your ancestors, your angels, whatever, like God, the universe, however you look at things, I've studied everything, so at this point nothing surprises me about anybody's belief system. So, but really think about that. Like, that's your soul family, right? So, like, why not treat them like family? Like, why not, question things? They're all, like, coming up with ideas for your life. And, like, you feel like your spirit of discernment start guiding you in certain ways. And then, your spirit team has your back. It's like, I don't know. It's crazy, but you feel a reciprocated energy. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go deal with my dog because now she's barking. Namaste. I love you all, and I will talk to you later.